that haven't you people ever heard of? Closing the goddamn door, no. It's much better to face these kinds of things. It's just a place of rationality. Panic at the Disco. The myth, the legend, the forehead. What's up, you motorheads? You may be wondering, Sarah, why are you doing a video on Panic? And to that I say, because I got nothing else to do. Okay, video over. Just kidding! I feel like no one has ever done this video before. No one has ever done a timeline video and, no one has.
God damn it.
Why don't we start over? Let's talk about the universe in the Panic music videos, or what I like to call the Panic-verse. A universe I wish to discuss because I've never heard anyone discuss this rather complicated lore and universe. And you all make theories like another band we know. Before we begin, I would like to ask my assistant to bring out the timeline. Okay, you can come out now. Crank that Yuri. Crank that Yuri. Crank that Yuri! Bring out the timeline!
No.
Just do it.
No.
I just said to do it.
I will summon Brendan and you will go to hell.
Just do it, Crank that Yuri, or I swear I will undo you.
Fine, but you will regret it.
Brendan plays different characters. He never plays the same character. So, for this video, I'll be referring to Brendan's characters by different names. So, for now, this Brendan will be Bradley. And this Brendan will be Evil Brendan. You can tell the difference by the way they act. Bradley is more mischievous, while Evil Brendan is more, evil.
Evil!
So, how do we determine the correct time for each music video? Right now you're probably thinking, let's start with Sins, right? Wrong. Sins does not take place in the past. It takes place in 2005. How do I know? Well, let's take a look at the groom's bride and the groom's outfit. Do they look like they come from the 19th century or the 1900s? No. So why should we start there? So, to begin, we have to figure out what this timeline would look like. And I went to Thumbnail Maker and created this.
What? What the fuck?
Okay, allow me to explain. Vices takes place in Vegas, 1907, and Pray for the Wicked takes place in LA, 2018. Okay, now that we have our past and future, let's begin with Vices. Also, just before we begin, Fall Out Boy is also in the Panic-verse. Maybe I could make a separate video explaining my theory on how they connect with the Panicverse? Who knows? For what I've researched on Google and Wikipedia, articles I can't put in the description because I don't know how to put links in the description. Bradley must have traveled with a group of migrating Mormons either from east of Utah or from the north, such as Carson City, probably long before Las Vegas could even be established as a full-fledged city in 1905. This means Bradley must have arrived at the location that would soon be Las Vegas in 1895, which would probably explain the outfits in the Ballad of Mona Lisa. This means that the Ballad of Mona Lisa must have come first. The Ballad of Mona Lisa might have actually taken place during the final days of the Old West.
What? What the fuck?
Yes, I know, it's steampunk, but compare this to the overture and you can see a huge difference. The Ballad of Mona Lisa was the beginning of a new era and the ending of an old one. Bradley must have traveled with the Mormon group, possibly to see the opening of the San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad, which wouldn't open until 1902. The project was headed by Montana Senator William Andrews Clark and Utah Senator Thomas Kern. While on the topic of Mona Lisa, I can't seem to figure out which one's Bradley. Whether he's the guy singing at the funeral, or he's the guy that Mary had murdered. Because Bradley is seen a lot in music videos. I would have assumed that he's dead, so maybe he's a ghost. I mean, seeing the same individual in separate timelines with no physical aging could mean one thing, that that person was dead to begin with. The overture takes place in 1907. By this time, Vegas had more, or was starting to have more than 100 citizens living there. The outfits that Bradley wears, including Spencer, are somewhat accurate to the clothing worn at the time, except for maybe for some modern aspects of their outfit, such as hair, ties, and the lack of hats, because they were outside in the rain, or at least at the start of the video. Personally, I believe, this is just my opinion, my personal opinion. I believe that this ballerina is actually Evil Brendan.
You serious?
Possessing her body. Okay, fine. I'll explain this once I get to talk about Evil Brendan in part 2 of the video. So, to pretty much explain, Bradley was killed in some point of his life and then traveled south to live in Vegas, and then packed his bags in 1907 to presumably travel to LA, and then returned to Vegas after World War I to become a jazz singer. I think I have to explain this once I get to the Roaring 20s. I also forgot to mention this part from That Green Gentleman. I want to make a separate video on Pretty Odd because, well, I believe it takes place in an alternate universe from the Panicverse. After returning to Vegas in 1925, Bradley becomes a jazz singer. How? He may have gotten a job at one of the casinos at the time. It may have even been possible that Bradley must have changed his name to something a little bit more jazzy, like Johnny.
You serious?
Fine, laugh all you want. But it's better if you do. Bradley, now as Johnny, gets himself a girlfriend named Betty, who's constantly overprotective of him. During this time, the Prohibition era struck Vegas pretty hard, causing the government to shut down bars, strip clubs, and casinos, and nightclubs. Or at least in this universe. Bradley, now as Johnny, continues to work as a jazz singer in the casinos against his girlfriend's wishes, thus causing her to become suspicious of Johnny. One night, Johnny gets a gig at a local strip club. The problem is that it's a bootleg strip club. A strip club for bootleggers. In other words, an illegal strip club. This begins to make Betty even more suspicious of Johnny. Why would he sing at the strip club? Why is he still a jazz singer when it's illegal to work in an establishment that serves alcohol? Unless he works for the mafia, which in this case, he doesn't. On the night of Johnny's gig, Betty tries to convince Bradley not to go to the club, gaslighting him that he doesn't love her anymore. Johnny tries his best to lie that he won't be performing that night. Instead, he tells her that he's meeting some of his friends and that he'll be home late. Johnny then goes to a strip club and continues his gig. The theme for the gig is Mardi Gras, which means everyone must arrive wearing a mask. Johnny dons a golden mask and goes on his daily work schedule as usual. One thing that Johnny failed to realize was that he was being followed. Betty realized that Johnny was lying and followed him into the strip club. However, unable to enter because she didn't know the password and that she didn't actually work there, Betty disguises herself as one of the workers and gets close to Johnny to see if he's not cheating on her. To her surprise, Johnny was telling the truth for once. He was not cheating on her, but it was in fact an act. The bad news? Betty accidentally attracted the attention of police after they perhaps spotted her wearing provocative clothing and acting very suspicious outside the mechanic's garage, wearing an elaborate mask. When Johnny realizes that one of the workers is in fact his girlfriend, he immediately freaks the hell out. Betty calls him out for being a liar, but then makes up with him afterwards. However, there is the problem of the police finding the strip club hidden behind the mechanic's garage. The police immediately arrest every staff member and attendees. When they try to arrest Betty, Johnny assaults one of the officers, causing the two to get arrested. When they are placed in the back of the police car, Johnny breaks the fourth wall, reminding the audience that he is still Bradley. What?
Are you forgetting something?
Really? Are we really having this conversation right now? You're a meme! Crank that, Yuri!
You don't pay me that much.
I don't pay you at all, Crank that, Yuri! You're an inside joke!
Really, after all I did for you, this is how you treat me? I pretended to be Brendan Urie in the update video skit info with nothing. Fuck you.
It was supposed to be a joke. Why did I even hire you?
I am the mascot of Cranktadura Studios. In fact, I am Cranktadura, so you should pay me more.
Are you done? Are you done ruining the video? Are you sure? Okay, because I really need to get back to the video. Bradley, as Johnny, breaks out of prison, and his girlfriend Betty breaks up with him for unknown reasons. By this time, the Boulder Dam, or the Hoover Dam, was still under construction, and Vegas entered an economic slump. As the Great Depression hit Vegas pretty hard, it was difficult for Johnny to get a proper gig. Some of the old casinos were going bankrupt and were closing down due to the economy of Vegas crashing. And not just the city, but the entire state of Nevada was struck with economic failure. The Great Depression wasn't the only thing that caused Johnny's career to falter, but it was also the fact that Johnny was arrested in 1925 during the events of But It's Better If You Do. Because of his criminal record, it's difficult for Johnny to find some good gigs. Vegas was falling into economic chaos. In a last-ditch effort, Johnny decides it's time to end his career as a jazz singer. A casino finally hired him to perform regardless of Johnny's criminal record. Johnny's final performance before calling it quits was Death of a Bachelor. On the day before his performance that night, Johnny began to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. It got to the point that Johnny was pretty much performing to an empty audience. It was just him in the stage all to himself. It's here where Johnny simply begins to question if quitting his job as a jazz singer was a good idea. That night, Johnny prepared himself for his final performance, dressed in his nice suit and his nice shoes, even his nice hair. His voice wowed the audience so much that they begged him to stay. As nice as it was having an audience one last time, Johnny quit his job that night and left to go east. Johnny went back to being called Bradley.